Hi there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you for joining me today for another card making tutorial. We're going to do a variation of this card for you today. Really nice pretty card. I used a similar layout in yesterday's blog post for the Inspire Create challenges, so do check that out. That was using black, white and any other colour, but I've used it again today. Just mixing it up a little bit, just slightly different layout, but in this particular example we are using the colours from the latest creative colour challenge, which is Melon Mambo, Mint Macaron and Crumb Cake. Okay, and the rules of that mean that I can introduce black and white to help with the design, so that's what I've done there. The stamp set there for the flowers and the sentiment is called Shaded Summer, and there are coordinating dies there called Summer Shadows, and then that little fun background has been created using watercolour shapes. Okay, so I'm going to just change up my card base and go for a Melon Mambo card base. I love Melon Mambo, it's a really nice bright pink with a bit more of a blue tone to it, which I really love. One of my favourite brights, that and Bermuda Bay, and in fact Bermuda Bay would work really well with this card in particular, I think, with against the Crumb Cake. That's a really nice combination. And then I've got black and white cardstock here. Okay, so the white cardstock is 3 1/4 by 5. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 3 1/4 by 5, and then I've made the layer there. It's actually 1/4 of an inch bigger. Now normally I would only do 1/8 of an inch, just popping that ruler back. So I've got a bit more bold border on there than I would do normally, but you know, it's all, you know, there's lots of different bits and pieces we can do. Card making and altering the size of your layers is another inexpensive way of just sort of changing the look of your cards without going to a lot of extra effort. So we're still going to use the Melon Mambo in the background. Or shall I use Mint Macaron? How Mint Macaron would look. Will it be too dark? Let's have a look. So it's going to, yeah, that might be alright actually. Should we use Mint Macaron? Just to sort of invert it all. So 1, 2, 3. First, second and third generation stamping going on here, and sort of putting them high, low and sort of middle in across the card, just to vary the look that we've got across there. I don't want another dark one next to that one, so I'm going to stamp it off once on the small grid paper I've got here. Then we'll take this one higher because the next one to the left of it was so I want to try and be a little bit organic with it. Oops. Okay, so you can build your background really, really nice and simply using the first, second and third generation inks. Now in yesterday's sample I used the small circle to almost create like a bokeh effect, but I'm using this skinny rectangle today. Square I think would work really well. There's a sort of chunkier rectangle there as well, but that could probably work for this as well. Alright, so that's how we create the background. That's just going to layer up onto our black layer like so. Okay, so you know, if you don't like the Mint Macaron, stick with the Melon Mambo. The Crumb Cake don't think would work quite as well. I think it's a little too dark for that kind of background technique, but I suppose if you were doing something a little bit more sort of grungy, it could work out. I think with flowers, I don't think it would have worked quite as well. So we can just put all these layers together because the other bits are all sort of die cutting and punching on separate pieces of cardstock, which we will then add with dimensionals. So that's our card base done. Okay, just give that a good press down. Okay, and that's our base. All right. Now, obviously, a lot of that background is going to get covered up, so it might be that that works in your favour sometimes. Sentiment, hello you, from the same stamp set. Just going to stamp that with the Memento Tuxedo Black, and that fits very nicely into the double oval punch which I have put down. There it is. So we're going to use the sort of the innie, the little smaller oval there with the straight edge to cut round that sentiment. This is, you can see how many times I've used this, just a piece of scrap cardstock that I've used for doing all the punching here. So that's now done and dusted. So there's our sentiment ready to go there. And to introduce the crumb cake, I'm going to use the sort of scalloped bit. Well, it's not a scallop, it's like a decal edge, wavy edge, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to introduce the crumb cake that way, alright, by doing that. So we'll just pop some seal on the back of that. And layer that up, and then we can put some dimensionals on the very back of that to pop that up later. So that's ready to go too. And now we want to do our sort of main floral elements. So I'm going to actually use the Stamparatus because I want a really nice black image for the card. I want it nice and dark. And what this means, if I use the Stamparatus, it means that I can stamp it a couple of times and make sure it's a nice solid dark image. Okay, so the stamp's mounted on the window over here. Tap over that. Okay, press down. Okay, and then we're going to do it once more to make it a really nice dark black image, and it'll be in exactly the right place because we've used the Stamparatus. Okay, so that's another way that I use my Stamparatus to make sure I get these really nice dark images with my Memento ink pad. Just going to quickly give that a wipe, just grab my chamois just there, just to take the worst of that ink off, and then I can clean it off properly once we're done with the video. So there are matching dies for this stamp set. But before we do that, we'll just add some colour to this. So mint macaron on the leaves. No blending, we're just putting the colour on. It's not that kind of card. It's a nice bold image, and I don't think we really need any additional faff on there. I'm going to use the light, that was the dark mint macaron by the way, and then this is the light melamumbo. So just going, filling in those white areas. You don't have to fill this in. On my sample yesterday, because of the nature of the challenge, I left it just black and white. So this is entirely optional. So no blending, just colouring in. Really, really nice and simple. And I think that lends itself to that just simple, bold colouring. Just hold that in place with some low tack washi tape there, and we'll run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So I have mine sat on my desk here next to me, because I die cut a lot, and those of you who follow me will know that. There's a lovely floral image, and again we can pop some dimensionals on that. Some of you probably have heart failure at the amount of dimensional going onto there, but I want to make sure it's supported and in place. And if you position this on the card so that the elements break the border, this border here, it kind of just all ties everything nicely together. At least it does in my opinion. If you don't like that look and you want to put it more central and not have it overhanging, then that's fine. Okay. And then we can position our sentiment where we want it as well. So again, I like this to break the border as well. So I'm just going to tuck that in under that floral image. Make sure it's straight. Press that down. There we go. Okay, so that's the finished card. Oh, I thought I'd done it upside down then for a minute, but I hadn't. Okay, so just to sort of show you a play with the colours really, and give you some different ideas on how you can compose the card really, inverting those colours, you know, keeping the decal edge there to incorporate another colour if you wish to. Obviously this one has kept it quite clean and simple. I think this one is my favourite of the two, but you know, each and every one of us has a different take on these things, so do let me know what you like. Links to all the other bits and bobs and the products I've used are going to be in the description, so do check that out, and I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you soon. Take care everyone. Bye.